राधा श्री गोविंद देव सेवमान स्मरामि। श्रीमान रासरसारम्भी वंशीवट तटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणु शनै गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयेस्तु नरम्। सप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Excuse me. It's from Canto 1, Chapter 10, and Text 6. This is a recorded class given by Srila Prabhupada on in Mayapur in 1973. We ask that you kick up the volume of your listening devices. Sometimes the level of recording is a little low. So without further ado, we'll start the class now. Hare Krishna.
nādhayo vyādhayaḥ kleśā daiva-bhūtātma-hetavaḥ ajāta-śatrāv abhavan jantūnāṁ rājñi karhicit nādhayo vyādhayaḥ kleśā daiva-bhūtātma-hetavaḥ ajāta-śatrāv abhavan jantūnāṁ rājñi karhicit No, never. Adhayaḥ, anxieties. Vyādhayaḥ, diseases. Kleśā, trouble due to excessive heat and cold. Daiva-bhūtātma, all due to the body, supernatural power, and other living beings. Hetavaḥ, due to the cause of. Ajāta-śatrāv, unto one who has no enemy. Abhavan, happened. Jantūnāṁ, of the living beings. Rājñi, unto the king. Karhicit, at any time. Translation: due to the king's having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold.
So, in the previous verse, it has been described that nature was favorable. The river, the hills, the mountains, forest, vegetable, creepers, these are our natural surroundings. Animals, everyone was complete. It is a cooperation. So many living entities, according to karma, we have got different bodies. Some has got the human form of body, some has got the body of an animal, some has got the body of a tree, creeper, sometimes hills, mountains also. Everyone, their business is cooperation. We can study from our own body. There are different parts of the body, but it is a business of cooperation. Hand, legs, eyes, ears, nose, they are all cooperating for the upkeep of the body. Similarly, all living entities may be in different types of bodies. They are meant for cooperating in the matter of serving the Supreme Lord. central point. Just see the So, if the government or the chief of the executive power, the king, is just to the point, dharmena, as it was said, abiding by the religious principles ruling over the country, everything, even natural elements, they become cooperative. They must become cooperative. What is nature? Nature is also another energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the nature is also working under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayādhaksena prakritis shriyate sa characharam hetunānena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. So Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, the cooperation was so complete that everyone was free from anxiety, disease, calamities, natural disturbance. In this material nature or material world, we have got three kinds of sufferings. Tritāp jantra. Sri Sanatana Goswami inquired, why these three kinds of miseries inflict pains upon me? Kiyami kano more jape tapotroy. Tapotroy. Tapo means painful condition. Tap. Just like if you touch fire, it creates a painful condition by burning the part. Similarly, this world is also a blazing fire, samsara davanala. The rascals, they do not know. They are always out of the three kinds of miserable condition. Everyone is in somewhere or other under these conditions. These conditions means it is these kleśā, painful conditions. They are created by three causes. What are those causes? daiva-bhūtātma-hetavaḥ. Daiva means created by the demigods. Daiva, devata. Just like this rain department, water department, is under the control of Indra. So, Indra can supply water just to your requirement, or sometimes he does not supply, or sometimes he supplies over requirement, otivrishti, anavrishti. Anavrishti means no rain, and otivrishti means excessive. So we don't want excessive or less. We want just proper. So this is under the control of the devata. You cannot say, you may be very great scientist, you cannot say that it is under my control. When there is no rainfall, you cannot say, all right, we are scientists, we are creating rain. You can theoretically say, now we are making progress in future. All these rascals say in future. And we also believe that in future these rascals will give us all happiness. Not now. Now you die. Just like a clever lawyer, his client was condemned to death, to be hanged. I have seen it in Allahabad High Court. And still he is patting him, don't worry, I shall get you released by appeal. Now you can go to be hanged, and I shall get you released. Like that. I have seen it. One big European barrister, in those days European barristers were very valuable, Mr. Alston. I had also one case in High Court. So one man, one medical practitioner, he killed his servant in the operation room very mercilessly. The servant was implicated with his wife. To revenge, he called the servant in the operation room. The servant did not know that he was to be killed, and immediately he was captured, chloroformed, and mercilessly killed with knife. And then, packed up in a box, he was taking the corpse in a different place to throw away. In the meantime, a police officer was passing. He saw the drops of blood is coming out of the box. He immediately arrested. So this case was, then the doctor was condemned to death. So Mr. Alston was appointed his lawyer. So he was solacing, don't worry, I shall get you released by appeal. So our so-called scientists, they also say like that, in future we shall do this, in future. Now you go to hell, that's all. But in future they cannot do anything. Daiva-bhūtātma-hetavaḥ mama maya duratha. Nature's law is so strong. These so-called childish scientists, they cannot give you any relief. That is not possible. That is not possible. It is simply false promise. And those who are fools and rascals, they believe that in future, what they have done in the past, they cannot do anything. Therefore, it is said, there are three kinds of miserable conditions. Daiva-bhūtātma. Daiva means adhi-daivik, and bhuta means adhi-bhautik, and atma means adhyatmik. Three kinds of miseries. Adhyatmik, pertaining to your body and mind. Body, we have got experience, so many bodily troubles, anxieties. If not body, mental, these are called adhyatmik. Then, adhi-bhautik. I am peaceful, will give me some trouble. I am peacefully sitting here, but these flies are giving me trouble, unnecessarily. I have to take precaution. So there are flies, mosquitoes, at night so many other animals they come. Besides that, my brother, my friend, they are also prepared to give me trouble. Somewhere or other living entities causing some painful condition. This is called adhyatmik, adhi-bhautik. And adhi-daivik. Daivik, painful condition created by the demigods. Just like there is hurricane, all of a sudden. So many trees falls down, sometimes cottages devastated, over flood, excessive rain, over flood, famine, pestilence. You have no control. You cannot control. You can simply say in future, that's all. But there is no control. So we are always in this painful condition, that is material life. But those who have got eyes, sense, they can see. Just like Sanatana Goswami, he could see. He was Prime Minister, well situated materially, learned scholar, very intelligent. Otherwise, how they could become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associates, very qualified. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami consulted Jagadananda that I want to do this, what is your advice? Sanatana Goswami became infected with itches all over the body. And it was what is called bleeding itches. Itches are two kinds, dry and sometimes oozing water. What is called?
Pus.
Not pus. Weeping, yes. The technical name is weeping, dry and weeping. So it was weeping itches. And whenever he would go to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. And the weeping secretion will touch the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he thought that I am suffering from this disease, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embracing me, I shall kill myself, I shall commit suicide. So he consulted, not for suicide, but leaving the place. So when he was advised, yes, you can leave the place, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he heard this news that Jagadananda has advised Sanatana Goswami to leave the place. He became very angry. That you have the audacity to advise Sanatana Goswami? Nonsense. You are so respectful to Sanatana Goswami. The same Sanatana Goswami approached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asking him the question, what I am, why I am put into this threefold miserable condition of life. So this is our position. We may be very great man in the estimation of our friends and countrymen, but everyone is subjected to the miserable condition of life. They cannot make any solution. That is not possible. They have made a solution, big learned scholars, just that Mr. Kotovsky said, Swamiji, after death there is no life. Everything is finished. Unless they think like that, their life becomes more horrible, full of anxieties. If they think of that there is another life, and there is punishment and reward according to our karma, then their life is very horrible. So, just like the animals, poor animals, sometimes facing enemy, close the eyes as if there is no enemy. So they do like that. Close the eyes. Children, when there is danger, they close the eyes. They have no other means to escape. So these people, they close the eyes. There is no life after death. Otherwise, they cannot accommodate. But there is life after death. Tatha dehantaram prapti. Tatha dehantaram prapti. There is life after death, simply change of body. Now there are so many bodies, 8,400,000 of bodies. I can become next life a fly, according to my karma. Or I can become next life Brahma, that is also according to karma. But there are varieties of life. So the so-called scientists, they do not know what is life after death, how it happens, how it is going on. This is a great science. That you can understand from the Vedic literature, not from your so-called scientific research. That is not possible. So, how these people during the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira were free from all kinds of anxieties and diseases. Nādhayo, vyādhayaḥ, kleśā. If you are in anxiety, then that will create a disease. However, this psychological condition, physiological condition is working in so certain way, little shocking, little disturbance we get, another disturbance. The Ayurvedic medicine, they treat patient on this principle. How things are disturbed, they have got their calculation. Kapha, pitta, vayu, tridhatu. This body is a composition of these three dhatu. Jashyatma buddhi kunope tridhatu ke. Kunope, this is a bag created by the interaction of the three elements, namely kapha, pitta, vayu. Bile, mucus and air. This is Kaviraj treatment. They can understand the position of these three elements by feeling the pulse. This is Ayurvedic science. If one Kaviraj can learn to feel the pulse, he can say everything. He can say when this man will die, today or tomorrow, or accurately will say. The pulse beating is so scientifically described in Ayurvedic science. As soon as he fixes up the pulse beating, immediately the formulas are there. Such kind of pulse beating will create such and such symptoms. So, you feel the pulse and inquire the patient, are you feeling like this? If he says yes, then it is confirmed. The disease is confirmed. Then the medicine is there. Very simple thing. Now, in the allopathic treatment, first of all you have to sacrifice 1 chatak of blood immediately. As soon as you go to the medical man in your country, he'll take so much blood. First of all you have to give your blood, then fees, then you have to purchase nonsense medicine. So, here are also there are nonsense Kavirajas also. So, unless one is expert in feeling the pulse, he is not Kaviraj. That is the criterion.
It will take 2 years.
Let's see.
The pulse feeling takes 2 years
Yes,
time.
2 years time. So, this is the this body is made of 3 dhatu, and misadjustment of these 3 things, if the mucus is increased, the other 2 decrease, in this way disturbance is created, and that is the cause of disease. Nādhayo, vyādhayaḥ. So if people remain completely in hygienic principle as they are prescribed in the shastras, just like rise early in the morning, take bath, evacuate, and chant Hare Krishna mantra. If you follow the rules and regulations, then there will be no anxiety, no disease. People become crazy when he is full of anxieties or disease. If he is happy in every respect, then he does not become crazy. He does not become enemy. If everyone is satisfied, then where is the chance of becoming your enemy or my enemy? Everyone is satisfied. So, in Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, the government was responsible also to keep people peaceful without any anxiety. That is government. Without any anxiety. And now the government means full of anxieties. You do not know how to sleep peacefully at night. You have to keep watchmen. Just see enemies are coming or not. With torchlight. You see? This is our position. Full of anxieties. Even we cannot sleep at night peacefully. This is government. And here you see, compare the government, no anxiety. No anxiety. Just compare. So what is the use of this rascal government? The rascal government must be there because we are rascals. You cannot complain against the government because we select. It is the days of democracy. We elect our representative. So why you should blame the government? You have created the government. You have sent your representative, a rascal, another big rascal. You are a rascal and another big rascal you have voted. So how you can expect good government? You send only big rascals, that's all.
Right.
So there cannot be. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That in the Kali Yuga, all the people will be rascals, Sudras. Simply by manipulation, if one gets vote, he captures the governmental power. Sudra. He is a Sudra. He is not a Kshatriya. That's Maharaj Yudhishthira, trained up Kshatriya. He is a rascal, third-class man, fourth-class man. He gets the vote and we give vote. So how we can be happy? How we can be carefree or anxiety-free or disease-free? It is not possible. Therefore, if the people in general, they become Krishna conscious, they become trained up in Krishna consciousness, they understand the value of life, how to live, then they can send good representative, Krishna conscious man. Then the government will be nice. Without becoming harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna. If people are not Krishna conscious, their so-called qualification has no value. Kuto mahadguna. That cannot be. There cannot be any good qualification of a person who is not Krishna conscious, who is not a devotee. This is our conclusion. We have got some test tubes. We can study man. He may become a very good scholar, very good politician, very big minister, but we test whether he has got any sense of Krishna consciousness. If he is not, immediately I understand that he is a rascal number one. That's all. We have got to test you. How much he is advanced in Krishna consciousness. If he is not, then he is grouped immediately in 4 groups. Duskitina means constantly committing sinful activities. Mudha, rascal. Naradham, lowest of the mankind. Maya apuritagyana, all the educated, with high degrees, his knowledge has been taken away. Asuri bhava-māsita and demon. Navāga duskita na mūಢā prapadante naradhama maya aparitagyana asuri bhava-māsita. Immediately go classify. Here is a rascal number 1, lowest of the mankind, or always engaged in sinful activities, or whatever education he has got that is useless because his real knowledge, just like Professor Kotowski, such a big professor, he says there is no life after death. He is rascal number 1. What is the meaning of this education? He does not know that the soul is eternal, and therefore Bhagavad Gita teaches first, Dehinasmin yatha dehi kaumarajo, na hannate hannamane sarire. First of all, understand this. Soul is eternal. You are eternal. You do not die after the annihilation. This is the first education. And these rascals, they say there is no life after death. So how much educated they are, you can understand. All rascals. And you may open big colleges and institutions providing some rascal professor, rascal student, and beg the whole life and sacrifice everything. It is useless. Samayeva hi kevalam. Simply wasting time. Dharmasthānasthita pumsāṁ vishakṣena kathāsuja nutpādayet ratingi jadi samayeva hi kevalam. Samayeva hi kevalam. You can do your duties very nicely. Very good. Dharmasthānasthita. But if you do not develop your, I would say, attachment for Krishna, Vasudevi, Katharuchi. Here Krishna Katha is going on. Topics on Krishna is going on. Let me hear it. Just like here, we are talking of Krishna. Nobody is coming. Nobody is coming. Only few selected. So Vasudevi Katharuchi, there is no taste for hearing Krishna Katha. So, such kind of education, advancement of civilization, is sramayeva hi kevalam. Simply wasting time. And if you waste your time in such foolish activities, then there will be anxiety, there will be disease, there will be enemies, there will be disturbance, everything, one after another, one after another. Natural disturbance, disturbance by other living creatures, disturbance by your body. So this world will become hell. This is the position. So just compare the present governmental situation and the time. That is, king is supposed to be responsible for the citizens' peaceful life, no anxiety, no disease. Nādhayo, vyādhayaḥ. That is king. Just like one Brahmin approached Lord Ramchandra, that in the presence of father the son has died, you are responsible. There must be something wrong in your kingdom. His son died, that it is natural that father lives, son lives, father dies. This is natural, death. What is this? The father is living and son is dying. So king was so much responsible. Even their death must be systematic. There should be no anxiety, there should be no disease, there should be no scarcity, no famine, no natural disturbance. This is God. This is government. Just try to understand the ideal government during Maharaja Yudhishthira's time. not only Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the kings, Rājñi, Imagarajasayo, Vidu, they are all great rishis, although they are Kshatriyas, Brahmana and Kshatriya. They used to guide the general people. The high caste means would guide the people nicely. The Brahmana, by their Vedic knowledge, perfect knowledge, Patan, Patan, Jajan, Jajan, Dana, Pratigraha, by high learning, they were not interested for capturing the government. No, they had no time. But there was consulting body. Even Yudhishthira Maharaj's time, there is consulting body. All the kings, the Brahmanas and the rishis, they would form a consulting body and give advice to the king. My dear king, do like this. And they will abide. Just like head gives the instruction to the arms. Not the arm gives instruction to the head. Head, brain. Mukho bahu rupade bha. So Brahmana means this portion. Head, brain. And Kshatriya means this portion, arm. And Vaishya means this portion, belly. And Shudra means this, leg. So no part is unimportant. Every part is important for upkeep of the body. But comparative study, this part is more important. If my head is cut off, then all other parts may remain, it will not act. Similarly, at the present moment, there is no Brahmana. All Sudras, simply legs. If you keep the legs of the body, what is the value of this body? There must be head. Everything must be there. Everything must be there. The head must be there, arms must be there, the abdomen must be there, the legs must be there. Then it is complete body. Similarly, this scientific division, Chatupannang maya system, gunakarma vibhagasa, the division of the human society, according to quality, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Krishna says, maya system, this is my creation for upkeep of the social system. So, there is necessity of the Shudras and there is necessity of the Brahmana, there is necessity of the Kshatriya. Everyone is required to function in his particular position. Then the society will be nādhayo, vyādhayaḥ, kleśā. No more anxiety and no more disease. Everyone is peaceful, cool-minded, cool brain, then chant Hare Krishna without any disturbance and go back to home, back to God. Thank you very much.
Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So many points Srila Prabhupada brought up in this particular lecture. And now this is the time, dear devotees, to unmute yourself. If you have any takeaways, you have questions to ask, if you have some things that struck you as very, very significant, you would like to mention that, this is the time that to unmute yourself and have that so we can have the conversation. Say that so we can have the conversation about Krishna. So many points are brought up. So please unmute yourself and join in, and let's have some Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance as organs of Prabhupada. Yeah, just like you said, the Prabhupada, had made so many points and he addressed few points. So one thing he addressed is, is the reminding us about the three miseries, how we are bothered by our own issues and around us and the calamities and everything. And when Prabhupada was describing the three miseries, I was just reflecting, how we still think that we are in this perfect world, but we still think that we are in the situation where there is still hope to be comfortable. We still think that we are in the situation where, yeah, we just got to work a little harder, and we can make it better. And we forget that we live in the world of three miseries. There's no way of getting it better. Yes, we can definitely, as we said, make the best of the bad bargain. But that's the thing. It's a bad bargain that you have to make the best of, but it's not going to be comfort all the way through. So I was just really reflecting that Srila Prabhupada is reminding us just to get out and go back to Godhead, like whatever it takes, So that was one of my realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Yes, it is important to realize that difficulty in the material world. And so towards the end, he said, we have a chant and go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So, Damodar, go ahead. You raise your hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept
Hare
my
Krishna. Say fine. Go to Prabhupada.
All glories to the devotees on the call. Yeah,
Right.
always hearing Prabhupada is very informative and always makes me think or makes me realize that he had so much knowledge in every field politics, be it Ayurvedic medicine or be it Shastras, each of those things. Couple of points that struck me were, as Mataji said, we are always in the hope that uh, we are going to live more, we are going to live longer, and this is the scientists are telling us, oh, we are going to do it, oh, we are going to do this, and and it still goes on. They're there there are so many businessmen, and they're thinking we want longer life, and they're trying for it in different ways, and and we just keep on hoping, oh yeah, that will work and then we'll be happy. But we always say that it's as sure as death, so death is coming anyhow. Whatever we do, it's not going to change. So it's always somewhere the need of urgency, or when we understand that that is for sure and it can come anytime, because we see nowadays doesn't matter what age we are at, we can leave bodies anytime. So such an urgency to take up to Krishna consciousness. That was one point that I it struck. And the other point where Prabhupada was mentioning uh, was forgot. Anyways, I think I'll just cut short. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That's still the point that you made is a very important point. We all benefit, especially some of us that not able to get on early. Then they hear what was talked about, because by the time they get on, because of work schedule, sometimes that happens. Then we hear the repetition of the things that struck you, you bring it up. That's very important. Any other comments?
Other thing that I it struck was Prabhupada was mentioning that Bhagavad Gita starts with he was talking about Professor Kotowski, and he's saying that he's not having a basic knowledge. He says that Bhagavad Gita uh, starts with the thing of understanding the soul and the body, and the interaction between these two, environment and all these things. And the thing is we don't understand, we don't we might understand these things, but we don't realize it, and we just keep on going further, reading into Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, but basic tattvas is not there, and it's we become surgeons in one way. So it's very important that we understand the like initial chapters of Bhagavad Gita very nicely, and slowly realize those in some form. So that was one thing that struck me as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, very, very wonderful points. Any other points? You can unmute yourself and share. while the devotees are thinking, I took some notes that I'd like to share also. Srila Prabhupada talked about that according to karma, we have different bodies. And all of us are meant to cooperate, actually. Then he gave the example, just like our body parts, they all cooperate for the upkeep of the body. Similarly, all living entities are supposed to cooperate in order to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, after this statement, if you wonder what's going on in the world now, we're doing exactly the opposite, unfortunately. Nature is working under the supervision of the Lord. In Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, nature was very favorable. Everyone was free from anxieties. And then so he brought up the kinds of anxieties in the material world, 3 kinds of suffering. One is deva, for miseries created from demigods, like rain supply is from Indra, but sometimes we get famine, sometimes there's no rain, drought, and sometimes it's excessive, like floods. But the scientists can't change that situation. The scientists sometimes give this false hope, saying in the future they can change the situation, but that's not possible. And people who believe the scientists, they're foolish, literally. The other type of suffering is adhyatmika, suffering pertaining to the body and mind. And he gave himself examples. I'm sitting peacefully talking, but then I'm being bothered by flies and so on. And this happens, when the flies come, they bother people. In temperate countries, they're constantly bothering people. At night, mosquitoes come after us. And then there's the other type, criminals who also just trying to live. They give misery to other people. Adidevic is suffering from the demigods. So that's material life. Suffering from one's body and mind, suffering from other living entities, and suffering from the demigods. So then he talked about the example involving Sanatana Goswami. He was also in a suffering condition. His body was covered with sores, and they were very wet sores, and so they were oozing. Obviously, he called it water, but better. It was horrible oozing sores that he developed. And Jagadananda advised Sanatana Goswami to leave the place because his sores were getting on the body of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wherever he goes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would embrace him. And when he embraces Sanatana Goswami, then some of the yucky liquid from the source gets on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. So Sanatana Goswami was very concerned about that. So he went to seek advice from Jagadananda, and Jagadananda said, well, leave the place then. So you don't have to do this thing, go to inconvenience, give inconvenience to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami was very embarrassed by the situation. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry when he heard that Sanatana Goswami was preparing to leave the place. There's a whole long story behind this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Srila Prabhupada didn't get into details, so I won't either. People think that after death there's nothing. And he said those who think that nothing happens after death, they are like children who close their eyes when there's danger, and they think that the danger, by closing their eyes, the danger will go away. That's the kind of thinking of people who, think that after death there's nothing else. He also talked about the body itself being a composition of 3 dhatu, mucus, bile, and air, kapha, pitta, vayu. And he spent some time talking about Ayurvedic medicine people and how they can find out what the disease is and how they treat it. So they can find out from the pulse. They take a person's pulse and they can tell the imbalance between these mucus, bile, and air, which one is imbalanced, which one is more, which one is less, so it's out of balance. And then they will ask the patient, are you feeling so and so and so and so, based on the pulse, what they think is off, and most, more often than not, the patient will say, yes, yeah, this is how I'm feeling. But they know, they're Ayurvedic, therefore they prescribe the medicine for dealing with that disease, just from the pulse. But modern science is not people taking blood samples, and then they charge you, and then they give you some medicine, and it only, at best, deals with the symptoms, but doesn't cure the person. Making so much money from that. So in Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, the government was very, very responsible. Now, he said we can't even sleep peacefully at night. Why? Well, we elected the government we've elected. So we become shooters, we become rascals. Through democracy, we elect a person who is like that from the people, then the government will be like that, government of rascals. So we can't be free from anxiety and disease. But Maharaj Yudhishthira was a trained up Kshatriya. So he knew what to do, and he was also God conscious. So the test is about how Krishna conscious a person is. And then he went into Namo Diskritana Muda Papadantina Radama Maya Parita Jnana Asuri Bhava Asita. And 4 classes of rascals. Mudha, fool or rascal. Diskritana, always committing sinful activities. Naradama, lowest of mankind. And Asuri Bhava, demonic activity. So if we do all of this, and he quoted again from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is on the screen now, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 8. And the last line, he stresses a lot. He kevalam, wasting time. The word is, we shouldn't be about that. People are, and he gave an example of his situation there. We're talking about Krishna, but how many people come? Apart from the devotees, nobody else comes. So he warned that if we spend time in foolish activities, then there will be disease. There'll be enemies, there'll be disturbance. Exactly what's going on in the world now. In an ideal government, there's no disease, there's no famine, there's no natural disturbance. So Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, he was consulting. Consulting who? He was consulting the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas give advice, and the king takes the advice. So just like the body is said, the parts are the head. The head represents the Brahmanas. The arms represent the Kshatriyas. The belly represents the Vaishyas, or the business people, car protection. And the legs represent the Sudras. So all the parts should be there. They're all important. Although, of course, the head is the most important. And he gave an example. If the head gets cut off, then the rest of the body cannot function. So the Brahmanas are important. And the thing is, Brahmanas now. So that's why he came to train people to be Brahminical, and even higher than that, to be Vaishnavas. So if the parts are all there and they're functioning properly, then there will be peace. So this is what we should be about. We should chant Hare Krishna and cooperate and be cool-minded, and then go back to Godhead. And then everything will be all right. Hare Krishna. So that's a good bit of what I was able to put together I'll take as notes by the mercy of Guru and Guranga. Any final questions or comments? If not, then we'd like to thank you very much for coming on today also. Every day we learn some more, and it helps our consciousness, which means we go closer and closer to purification, and closer to being accepted back home, back to Godhead. So have a wonderful, in the midweek now, have a wonderful rest of your week in Krishna consciousness. Vanchakalpatarubhesya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.